Hi Chicagoland, hi Illinois, hi United States of America, even though it's more divided, it's more like the divided states of America right now, but hopefully come November we will return to be calling ourselves the United States as opposed to the divided states. Okay, this is another segment of This Is Not Fake News. We are here at Supernose Station. Boy, a lot of things going on in the world right now. As you can see, this artwork right here, as you can see, resident, not president, but resident Trump telling the police organizations, don't be too nice, he said. Don't be too nice. Just rough them up. Yeah. And what did the police organization do after he said that? Yay! Come on, Doug. Yay! 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 Woo! Woo! Yay! Yay! Trump 2020. So, okay, and then we jump forward to 2020, and I still can't pronounce the guy's name, but whatever. He's a scumbag. Let's just call him Officer Scumbag, okay? And you can see George Floyd will go down in history. It'll be in the history books like Emmett Till. And yeah, he basically committed murder right on video. And the other cops just stood there and did nothing. And what was his rally cry that continues to reverberate?
I can't breathe.
I can't breathe. I'm kind of shocked that those two Republicans had a spine. First it was Gorsuch, who did the right thing for the
what he did was he looked at the text. He's a textualist. But he could have looked at it, he had two ways he could have looked at it. He could have said that it says plainly that you can't discriminate on account of sex. He could have said that, oh, back in those days, they must have only meant male or female how you were born. But he didn't do that. He gave us a glimmer of hope that he was capable of reasoning in a little more open way than some of these people who are so-called textualists, or they call themselves originalists, where they can't interpret anything other than how Benjamin Franklin or Madison would have exactly looked at it back in the old days, back in the 1780s.
Yeah, right.
But he actually looked at it in enough of an open-minded look that he said, well, sex means whatever gender you are, even if you change your gender. So you can't discriminate against someone who's transgender, because that is discriminating on the basis of sex.
Right. And
by doing so, he raised himself above those so-called conservatives that are just trying to use. They hide behind this textual.
Well, Anthony Kennedy was another one way back a few years ago, but the second guy, Roberts. John Roberts, the Chief Justice. Well, President Obama, former President Obama, had the DACA plan, which I was for. I agreed with it. It basically meant that if children were brought here through no fault of their own at the age of 2, 3, 10, 11, through their parents, and if their parents came here illegally, that's still no fault of the children. And one of the rules of this DACA was having no criminal history. And if you've been here up to 10 years, I think the 10 years thing was right, but the main thing was no criminal history. And I'm okay with that. And sure enough, Mr. Roberts, Chief Justice Roberts, went along with 4 liberals or 5 liberals, I think.
There's 4 considered liberals.
So for now, that still can fall apart if Trump continues to do it. But for now, it's been declared that they are not going right now. They're not being sent back. For now, until Trump comes up with more bullshit.
It's a good thing that now they have at least a little peace until hopefully the Trump administration can't come up with some other set of reasons to bring it to the Supreme Court. And indeed, the Supreme Court would probably not take it up until their next session. So if there's any decency in the world, this will be put off till after the election.
Yeah.
And the DACA people will be able to stay in the country because they were not brought here except under the they had to do what their parents wanted to. So they did not do it of an act that they decided to do. They were going along with their parents.
And I might add to that. I think all immigrants that came here, and even if they came here legally, that have had no criminal history, should be given the chance to apply for citizenship, or at least not be sent back. There was a guy, now this is not just Hispanics from south of the border. There's some people from Europe are having the same thing. This one guy from Poland, he came here through no fault of his own, and he lived here 30 years, he built up a business. Okay, well, you could say, well, why didn't he apply? Well, maybe my guess is he didn't apply for citizenship because he was afraid. He didn't want them to know that
I think many people are afraid.
And they sent this guy, this guy only knows the language English. He doesn't know Polish because he was brought here when he was a little kid. So now you're going to send him to, like, same with the Mexicans. A lot of them don't know that language, Spanish, okay? All they know is America, United States. So, and they know nothing about that culture other than what their parents told them, maybe heard the music they heard. So you're sending them back into a zone, I mean, if they're bilingual, God bless them, but into a zone where they have no attachment to it other than the fact that their bloodlines come from that. So, and that's just crazy.
This is a big can of worms, Batman. I didn't know we were going to get into immigration law today, but I think that
because of DACA.
I'm only talking about the DACA thing because it's a moral thing that these people, whether you agree or not with the niceties of the immigration issues, these people were given the right to expect that they would be treated how they were by coming forward, because they only qualified for the DACA program, remember, by coming forward when Obama offered them this ability to be legalized in that sense. And once the government had made that promise to them, we were morally obligated to fulfill it, because you cannot take away a right from somebody when it has been given to them and they have done nothing to dishonor it. In other words, they don't have criminal records, exactly. Right? They don't, and I don't mean trivial criminality like just getting a speeding ticket.
Speeding ticket.
It ought to be something.
Well,
it ought to be something really serious to deny a person a right that was given to them by the President of the United States with the full power of the government to extend this to them, and that it was a moral thing that he was doing. By not having them have to live in fear, because who wants to live in fear? That was what the Nazis did. They made everyone live in fear.
Well, that's kind of like fascism.
Yes, we don't want to be a fascist country.
And let's get back to the
anyway,
police
this is a very
of the world.
topic. Yes.
Now, this guy and these guys are fascists. Now, let me be clear. Not all cops are bad guys. Okay, not all cops are fascists.
We've fought crime all our lives, and we know
that's true. The police have always...
a lot of police that are very, very good.
As Batman and Robin, we are crime fighters, and the police have mostly been our ally. Chief O'Hara and Commissioner Gordon and
totally
the rest.
Honorable people.
Yeah, right. But now
there are a few that...
Well, we break ranks with these... I don't even call them cops. They're fake cops. Real cops do not do this.
That's not living up to your oath.
Right.
As a police officer. That is so beyond the pale. What this guy did, Chauvin is his name. You were searching for the name.
Right.
Just think of chauvinist and just cut it.
Yeah.
But he's about as wicked as they come.
Yeah. And so is those two cops in Atlanta. The guy was running away. Well, you've got his license. You know where he lives. You can, the next day when he sobers up, you can send a crew there, knock on his door, talk to him first. Don't rattle him up, don't rough him up. The one cop kicked him, don't kick him, just arrest him when he's sober. Okay, for DUI. DUI.
So beyond the pale. I mean, you know, when police officers
shut him in the back.
Vastly more force or vastly more intimidation than they possibly need to use. And he was not a criminal.
No.
He was just somebody that fell asleep at the wheel of his car.
And we don't know if he was wasted. If we're going by what the killer cops say. The same for this guy.
The point is that actually it was a matter for a court to decide if they had
the same for this guy. This $20 was alleged. We don't know that.
And he could have been given a ticket and be allowed to walk home And that would have been, just show up in court, and the judge would have probably fined him something, or if necessary, okay, if they thought that, well, they had to throw the book at him, he could have at that time. But to throw him in jail that night when he had his thing with his daughter, his birthday, the very next day, I believe is what it was, they absolutely terrified and panicked this man, and he did run, but he didn't have an actual weapon that could be used to really harm another person. So that was beyond the pale to shooting. It was beyond any form of
and he's running
decency.
away. Like
when you're running away,
Daniel.
what do we call somebody like in the Old West if they shot someone in the back? A coward. A real criminal.
Well, that's like Laquan McDonald over here in Chicago, 65th
What kind of a
Street.
brave cop are you?
He was running away too. And,
you shoot somebody in the back. What does that make you feel, like a man or something because you shot somebody in the back? That's beyond the pale. That kind of a cop does not deserve honestly. And hopefully he will never wear the uniform again.
We were talking about this earlier today, so I'm going to bring it up again. Is I don't believe what the cops say when they're the ones that are killers. I mean, the $20, they made that up. And we don't know. It has to be proven in the court. It's alleged.
Everything.
It's alleged. It's not proven yet. So they want to run with that, and these other cops wanted to run with the fact that he was drunk. Now he cooperated. He went and took a breathalyzer test, but we're going to go by what the killer cops say. So I just want to say, like,
that's what body cams are for. I think the body cams showed everything on this incident in Atlanta.
Right.
We don't know what the body
we didn't see the DUI test.
We don't know what the body cam showed. Actually, the breathalyzer test showed that he was slightly above the limit.
But we're believing what the killer cops say.
Well, we shouldn't believe anything that officers say when there's not supporting evidence, and if the officers do not have a reputation that warrants the respect. Like in this case of the Chauvin guy, I would not trust anything he said. He had 17 complaints against him.
Right. And
I think that giving the officers the benefit of the doubt, which has been the usual thing in this country, is now coming under scrutiny.
Because it's being caught on video.
Because they're the ones that have given the profession a bad name now. The pendulum has gone to the extreme of saying that, well, we can't even believe anything.
Well, in the 1960s, you had the assassination of Fred Hampton. And then you had John Birch. I mean, he lied. Those cops that killed Laquan McDonald lied. They even went into the Burger King and took the camera down. Liars.
Yeah, they try to
Criminals.
cover up the tracks.
Yeah, and then Rahm Emanuel.
That's why we need the body cams to always be running. And,
right.
The
and then the Dinal, Democrat in name only, Mayor Rahm Emanuel.